Awesome. Hey, everybody. Wish I could see you guys. Sorry about the little technical difficulties there. So first thing, obviously huge news. I just wanted to release a statement on Jermaine Kearse, about to release it via our social media, but I was going to read it right here. On behalf of the Washington football program, I want to wish Jermaine Kearse all the best in his retirement. Jermaine is a great Husky who had a knack for the big play, both in college and the NFL. I hope to see him and his family at Husky games for years to come. We're going to release that here shortly, but what a phenomenal football player, what a phenomenal man, and I'm going to try to recruit him to be around our program as much as possible. He's a shining example of what a Husky is all about. So awesome news for him, and what a great career. A couple other deals here. Hey, I want to wish the Tampa Bay Lightning congratulations on the Stanley Cup victory. As you guys know, I spent a lot of time down in Tampa Bay. Became a big fan. My family became a big fan. And I want to wish them congrats on the Stanley Cup. It was awesome to watch the series. But now that I'm in Seattle and we have a pro hockey team, Seattle Kraken, let's go. It's our turn. Let's get it cracking. I got to switch allegiances to Seattle. And then last thing here, we can start talking some Husky football. I want to wish Blake Snell, the starting pitcher for Tampa Bay Rays, the best today as he starts the American League wild card game this afternoon. He's a local product, Shorewood High School, right here from Seattle, committed to the University of Washington to play baseball before he was drafted. He is a huge Husky football fan. He's always supporting us. Blake, go get it today, man. You've been an inspiration to our team. And with that, let's talk some Husky football.
All right, we'll go to Tim Booth. First question, Mike Farrell will be up next. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Jimmy. I'm wondering if you can kind of walk us through the timeline of what you did with your players and as a staff after the initial postponement of the season to the winter, and then how your timeline is going to look over these next 5 to 6 weeks as you get, ramped up toward that first game.
So from the postponement, you're referring to when we were getting ready to play Stanford on September 26th, and they postponed the season until January. Is that correct? I think that's what you said there. So I'll just answer it that way. I'm not sure if your mic got cut off. Yeah, so what we did is we actually practiced for 2.5 more weeks after the postponement. We worked our players out. We are on the quarter system, and so there was going to be a huge lag time for our players to be here, especially our true freshmen. And so we actually, after that 2.5 week period expired, we got some really good work in here right at our facilities here. We sent our true freshmen home, and a lot of our vets stayed here and continued to lift, but there was no practices for about 3.5 week period. And our plan was always to bring them back right when school was to begin, which begins tomorrow. And we brought them back a week earlier. And so a lot of our vets have been here. They've never missed a day of lifting. And now our whole team arrived here last Monday, quarantined for 7 days. And we've already conducted 2 practices beginning yesterday. And we had our second this morning. And away, here we go. We're off and running, getting ready for our 2020 season.
All right, thanks, Coach. Mike Varell, you're next. You're allowed to talk now. And then we'll go with Lauren Kirschman after him. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, you just mentioned obviously sort of the schedule, the way things have gone. I'm curious, when you have had guys taking 3-week breaks and then quarantining and now getting back into, your guys' facility, how confident are you with this time leading up to the season that your guys will be physically prepared to play that first game?
Yeah, our vets are going to be physically prepared to play when we open the season in November. I would say, 80% of our roster is vets, 70% of our roster are all vets. They didn't leave the city of Seattle. They were right here lifting. They were training. We still have to get into football shape and be able to run football plays and be tired and then run football play again after getting hit and getting back up. That's going to be the difference. But in terms of training, Coach Saha and his staff has done an unbelievable job. Our true freshmen, we just got to see if those guys are ready to go physically. We don't know that yet until we get the pads on them and we start banging around a little bit. But that's always the case in any year, not just in 2020, which we'll be able to figure out here as we open training camp in October.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Lauren Kirschman, go ahead. Dan Raley will be next.
Hi, Jimmy. You touched on this a little bit, but for the less experienced guys, how difficult has this been, not just physically, but mentally? And how do you kind of, during this period, keep them engaged and keep them locked in to be ready for a season now?
Oh, it's like we just won the lottery. We are so excited around here that we have a season to look forward to, and that we have something to prepare for. Our morale right now is through the roof. But no question, a few months ago, it was a roller coaster. We're playing the Pac-12 season, then we're not playing until January, and now we're playing. So at this point of the roller coaster, we're at the top right now. We're extremely excited to put all our schemes in. We're out there practicing all together again, and right now we are fired up that we get to play football and go play against an opponent here in about 6 weeks. So we're excited right now.
All right. We will go to Dan Raley with Ruth Robbins on deck. Go ahead, Dan.
Jimmy, could you walk us through how your quarterback selection is going to unfold? And do you have a hierarchy on those guys right now? Is it 4 guys?
Correct. It's 4 guys right now. We have the 3 young guys. I call them young, but they just have, because they haven't played a lot of college football just yet. 2 haven't played at all. Jacob Sturman's played a little bit. And then obviously we have the older guy in Kevin Thompson. All 4 are going to vie for the starting job here. It started yesterday. I mean, it started way back in the off season, but these last 2 days we've ramped up our installs, and it's definitely as soon as we get into training camp, it's going to be exciting competition. It's going to be exciting for our team to watch, our coaching staff to watch, and I know for you all to watch and our fans to watch. And like you guys have quoted me before, and I'm going to say it again, I'm an equal opportunity employer. Whoever shows that they can run our scheme, can lead our offense, make smart decisions, and make plays, is going to be the one that's going to be the starter. And they got to do it, and they got to be consistent. And we're looking forward to watching the competition.
All right. We will go to Ruth Robbins. Kyle Bonagura, you'll be next.
Yeah, Jimmy. The obvious question that everybody's asking is, do you know when the schedule is going to come out?
Yeah. Ruth, I was hoping you could tell me that.
No, but I'm not that good.
I mean, I would hope. What is today? Tuesday. I would hope within the next 5 days, we would release something. But that is just me saying that. I really do not know when we will release a schedule. We're just going about this that we know we're playing a game, possibly November 6th or November 7th. That's how we've scheduled our practices and our workouts and our conditioning. And at this point, for us, it doesn't matter. Our opponent's gray matter at this point. It's just all about our preparation and getting our team ready, physically and mentally prepared to play a game Friday night or on Saturday. But at this point, we are just grateful we have a game. We don't even know we're playing. We're just happy we have a game approaching, and it is coming up very, very soon.
All right. We'll go to Kyle Bonagura. Kyle, you are open, ready to talk. Next after him will be Larry Stone.
Hey, Jimmy, I was wondering, I got another scheduling question. How much input did the conference seek from the coaches in the league about how to, structure the new schedule, both in terms of how many games there were and how to do the crossover game, and if that game should count? What went into that, and how much input did you guys have?
Yeah, they definitely gave. We've been meeting once a week. They definitely reached out to us and bounced ideas off of us. But really, the ADs and the football, I think they call it the football working group. They did the bulk of the work on all of this. And I think when it all came back to where it looked like we were going to have basically a 6-game regular season almost, basically. The fairest was to have three home games and 3 away games and play your division first with 1 crossover game. And then obviously that 7th game, whether you're in the Pac-12 championship or the extra game, would be a bonus on top. And I thought the way they came up with it was extremely fair. It was very thoughtful. And now we've got to get who we're playing here. And I know we'll all be happy to have a schedule to look at and to prepare for.
All right, we'll go Larry Stone, and Dave Mahler will be next after Larry. Go ahead, Larry.
Jimmy, you said when the games were shut down that your team was going to come out of this stronger and more resilient. Do you feel that way still? And how much of success this year do you think is going to be determined by how various teams handled the layoff and the shutdown?
Yeah, I definitely still feel that way. I could feel that out at practice the last 2 days. They are just grateful for the opportunity to go through drills with their position coaches, to be able to run plays. We're running plays on air right now. It's very low risk. We're mask on, or certain things that we can't do right now just early on in this phase of this ramp up of how we're practicing. But you could just tell just by talking to every player, every coach, we are just grateful to be out there. They're loving our meetings and just being able to learn and be around their teammates. And we've already come out stronger because of what we've been through since March. And then there's no question, the second part of your question there, the teams that handle this virus accordingly, that have the most discipline in practicing all the social distancing guidelines that we've learned in the last 6 months, the ones that condition, that have to over prepare now because most of us didn't have a spring football, we didn't have a real training camp, the ones that are begging for extra meetings with their coaches to learn the schemes, the ones that are going to be more prepared, those are going to be the ones that are going to be holding up that Pac-12 trophy come December.
All right, we'll go to Dave Mahler with Chris Fetters on deck. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Jimmy, lots of time to figure this out, obviously, but just kind of based on what your roster looks like on paper, what you got coming back from last year, what would you say is the one position right now that you're deepest at, and maybe the one position that you're kind of curious to see how things play out this year?
Yeah, I think, the easy one, the last one is the quarterback position. We've had, obviously, Jake Browning was the starter for 4 years, and then obviously Easton comes in, and whoever ends up taking over the helm there has not started a game for the University of Washington. So that's going to be the one where we're all going to be, okay, how's this thing going to shake out? That's the easy one. The deepest, I think there's 2 position groups where we have a lot of depth. First, I'll talk about the inside linebackers. We felt like they were all young last year, but we feel like they've all taken a step towards the end of the year, that we finished the season extremely well in the Apple Cup and our bowl game, and we have all those guys back. And so our inside linebacker core is extremely deep. And I think you got to look at the defensive backs. We lose Miles Bryant to the New England Patriots, and then everybody's back. We have everybody back, and we added some really talented players that also could be pushing at certain spots, if not on special teams, or especially in the back end. So those are the 2 position groups that I think we feel really good about with our depth.
All right, we will go to Chris Fetters, and Christian Cape will be on deck. Go ahead, Fetters.
Oh, you're on mute, Chris. Come on, Chris. Man, we're like in month 7 of the pandemic with the Zoom. Come on. There you go.
I'm not hearing Chris, even though he looks like he is unmuted.
He was on mute. Now he's unmuted.
Well, all right. We're going to have to go skip Chris. We're not hearing anything from him. Sorry about that, Chris. And we will go to Christian Capel. Christian, you are unmuted.
Hey, Jimmy. You've said before that the new offensive scheme and system will make it easier for younger guys and freshmen to contribute right away. Just curious why that's something that's important to you in college football, to be able to get the young guys on the field quicker.
I'll say this. It's not even just for the young guys. It's even for our vets. And I think the simpler we can keep things, but it's still sophisticated for our opponent, is going to make all of our guys play a lot faster. And now going to the young guys, we bring in these guys that are fast and tall and explosive. The last thing we want to do as coaches is slow these guys down. We don't slow them down. We want these guys to play as fast, if not faster than they played when we looked at them on tape and we thought they were, going to be a big time player for us. And I want both sides of the ball. A freshman should be able to insert into our scheme mentally and be able to play right away. It shouldn't be that confusing. And I think we are taking steps that way. I know we are, because I've seen a bunch of young guys out there right now on offense making plays in June, July, and August, and even these last couple of days getting lined up correctly. And so it's been fun to watch. Now we'll see when the pads come on and someone's hitting them, if they're still gonna be able to line up the right way and make those plays. But it is very important for our coaches not to slow our talented players down. We're not doing our job. We're not doing our players justice if we're doing that.
All right, we'll go to Anthony Edwards from the Daily. Anthony, you're next, and then Bill Swartz after that. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, you guys can hear me?
Yep, go
yes.
ahead.
Awesome, yeah. Been doing this for a while, student, probably like 100 Zoom calls now. But Jimmy, just wondering, as a first-time head coach dealing with the pandemic and stuff, is there a message from like a former coach or a mentor or something that's stuck with you throughout this time?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to point to Chris Peterson, long time ago, or I can't remember how many years ago, when he figured out, he tells a story to me and our coaching staff. I think it was after his first year at Boise State. He said, and he told us all, he said, when you're a head coach, you're a problem solver. That's what you are. Every day you're solving problems. And so that really stuck with me. And there's no question. I think all of us have been solving problems during this pandemic, but that sticks with me every single day. My job is to problem solve. This isn't working. We got to do this. This isn't working. We got to do this. I mean, we had a staff meeting yesterday morning, and our whole Zoom on every single computer wasn't working. And so I had to problem solve that very, very quick with a whole bunch of help that all of our video guys that are way smarter than me. But if there was one thing that sticks out with that question, head coaches are problem solvers, and that's my job is to solve them.
All right, we'll go to Bill Swartz. Bill, you're good to go. We're going to get Dave Mahler with a follow-up question after Bill's done. Go ahead, Bill.
Jimmy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you've really applauded your guys for doing the right thing as far as COVID protocol. We're seeing Purdue had, I think, 13 student athletes suspended for going to a dorm party. Are you relying on peer pressure, or is there some sort of a written commitment from the team?
That's a great, I'm gonna have to get with her. I'm gonna have to write that one down, but I didn't know that story, because what I like to do is share a lot of stories around the country, and we learn from some of the mistakes that other programs have been making. And so you can guarantee I'm going to share that story in our next team meeting. So thank you for that. That's awesome. And so really, no, there's no signed document. It goes back to our goals. And if we're going to reach our goals, we have to protect the team by not bringing the virus into this building. And we have to protect the team by not getting the virus outside this building and spreading it to your roommates. It's going to be we have to insulate ourselves and create our own bubble here at the University of Washington football program. And like I said earlier, the team that does that the best in the Pac-12 is most likely going to be holding up that trophy. And so it's just more about reminding the players what's at stake. And so it's more peer pressure, more us talking about it all the time, and just reinforcing the idea of always having your mask on. There you go. Always have it ready to go, and social distance, washing your hands, and going through all the social guidelines that all the medical professionals have been telling us about.
All right, we'll go back to Dave Mahler. Go ahead, Dave, you're unmuted.
Hey, Jimmy, real quick. There was I think 3 or 4 players yesterday opted back in that had declared for the draft. Michigan State had a defensive end about a week ago that did the same thing. Has there been any talk at all about Levi or Joe? I know Joe, I think both those guys have signed with agents, but any chance of them coming back if they want to? And is there anybody else that you would foresee that would potentially leave early, or is that pretty much, you think, already come and gone?
Yeah, Unfortunately, I think that is they're already gone. They're headed out, and we wish both those guys the best in their NFL careers and in their preparation for the draft. We're excited about those two dogs, and they're always going to be dogs. And I think we won't have anybody else, declare for the draft. And who we have right now on our roster should be the roster that's moving forward for this 7-game season.
All right, we'll go to Art Teal. Art, before we get to you, we're not gonna have enough time for everybody to ask their questions. So after Art, we'll go back to Tim Booth and then Mike Farrell after that. So go ahead, Art.
Mute.
Art is still muted. We're gonna have to go ahead and skip Art. Then we'll go to Mike Farrell. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, just speaking of, guys who could have declared for the draft, obviously, you've got Elijah Molden coming back, and he probably could have went either way. Just how important is he to what you do and to your defense if he's coming back for you?
He's extremely important, and he took a lot of time in his decision-making process. He's obviously a player that, he could have left right after the bowl game last year. That's how talented he is, and how much film he's already put out there for the NFL scouts to pore over. You guys will get to ask him some questions here coming up, but he's an extraordinary leader for us. I think he's even learning more about himself, how much of a leader he is throughout this pandemic, and being around our team. But he's extremely, of all the plays he's going to make on that field for us, which I know he's going to do, he's more important as a leader in that locker room for us. And I am so glad that he decided to sign with Washington years ago. I'm so glad that he's a dog, and I'm excited to watch his senior year play out, and then watch the rest of his career unfold at the highest level.
All right, we'll go to Tim Booth. Christian Capel will be next after that. Go ahead, Tim.
Jimmy, if you look at the proposed, dates for the season, it looks like it's going to be 7 games in 7 weeks. And we've seen, obviously, cancellations and postponements around the country. Are you concerned that there's not that sort of wiggle room built in to the schedule? And has there been discussion about what happens if a team, has issues with the virus, but they just end up playing 5 or 6 games for the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think what's different, what we have going in the Pac-12 is we have the daily testing. And so if you look at the National Football League, knock on wood, there hasn't been a postponement yet because the teams are getting the teams and the staff are getting tested every single day. So they know when they hit the practice field, nobody has the virus. And so if someone gets it the following day, they don't have to do the contact tracing and basically eliminate, 20, 30 guys off the team. And so that's why that's where you've seen the NFL not have to postpone games so far. That's where the Pac-12 is going to be. We're going to be testing these guys every single day. And so I don't think we need the wiggle room because we're going to be testing every single day, because we should have all negative guys that tested negative going through our games from week to week. But if we did not have the daily testing, Tim, I do agree, we would definitely need some wiggle room like we had built in the previous Pac-12 only schedule when we were going to begin on September 26th.
All right, we will go to Christian Capel, then we'll give Art Teal another chance at it here. Art, if you'd like. Go ahead, Christian. We're almost done with questions for Coach Lake, though. Go ahead, Christian.
Besides the guys who have declared for the draft, have you had any other changes to your roster? And are there any guys who won't be able to practice fully when you guys start in October?
Great question, Christian. So I have one little note here on my card that I failed to mention because I was getting too excited about Blake Snell and Jermaine and the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Seattle Kraken. So I do have one roster update right here, what I want to share. So Cole Norgard has medically retired from football. We really feel for him. He's been battling some injuries for a couple of years now. But what's a positive thing, he's going to continue to be around our football program and help out our offensive line and our scout teams as he finishes up his degree. And, it's never a happy moment to announce something like that. But Cole's been a tremendous Husky, and we wish him the best.
All right, sorry for that. Go ahead. We're going to give Art Teal another chance to try to ask his question. This will probably be the last one for Coach Lake, however. Go ahead, Art, if you're there.
Still on mute.
Still muted. Art,
there you go.
Okay, there you go, Art. Go ahead.
Okay, Jimmy, you mentioned about the daily testing as being the game changer for the Pac-12. That certainly does help contain the spread. But what gives you the confidence that something else has changed that would prevent the initial infection?
So what it does, I think if I'm getting your question right, what it does is it stops the contact tracing where you have to eliminate players that do not have the virus. So there's no question. I mean, we can't stop a one player from getting the virus off campus, wherever it is. But with the daily testing, what we can do is eliminate that we had an affected player around 10, 15 players, and now all of a sudden 20% of our roster is not eligible to play the game. That is the difference between what we have now in the Pac-12 as opposed to what some of the other conferences are doing. And that is the difference is what the National Football League is doing. You see one player, I believe, I can't remember which team it was, tested positive. I believe it was for the Atlanta Falcons. And he obviously missed the game, but they didn't have to take away a whole bunch of other people because the contact tracing, he was not around anybody who else had to spread the virus from himself to anybody else. And so that's the difference.
Hey, Elijah, I was just wondering, how have you been staying focused during this time and kind of leading your younger teammates throughout this whole process?
Yeah, I think right now is probably more tough than it ever has been to stay dialed and focused. But really, I've just been, focusing on what I can control and what I can't, especially right now with so much uncertainty and everything's changing day to day, week to week. I just take one day at a time and then, focus on what I can control. So the playbook, what I do out in the field, recovering, that sort of stuff.
All right, thank you, Elijah. Kim Grinolds, you're up next. Dan Raley will be after Kim Grinolds. Go ahead, Kim.
Hey, Elijah Reynolds, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you, Kim?
Good. Hey, with everything that's been going on, guys opting out, declaring the draft, is that something that you considered? If so, how close were you to making that decision? And then also, your dad is a first-round pick. How important was it for you to come back and try to become a first-round pick as well?
It's a two-sided question. I think I'll answer the first one first. With the whole situation, from the very beginning when it was declared that we weren't going to have a season, I think the name of the game was patience. And naturally, I'm not a very patient person, so that was something that was difficult for me. But right now, I think it was a very valuable lesson, just because you don't know what the future is going to look like. And I don't want to make an emotional decision when I want to play football. But so my decision to come back, everyone like Levi, Joe, everyone who's opted out, they have their own personal reasons. And I've heard from those guys, and they have, very valid reasons for opting out. But for me, I think I just love the game so much that I wouldn't be able to sit out any longer, knowing that I could have played. So that was my motivation behind coming back. And especially with a new coach and Coach Lake, I believe in him entirely. And I feel like I wanted, I want my senior season to be, it's my last year here at UW, but it's his first. So I kind of want to start him off on a good note.
All right, thanks, Elijah. We'll go to Dan Raley with Mike Varell on deck after Dan. Dan, go ahead. Dan, you're muted. Go ahead, Dan.
Elijah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
As one of the three cornerbacks, does your role change at all this in your senior season? Do you get like more freedom back there now to do what you do?
That's a good question. I think with the year under my belt of starting, I think I'm more comfortable in my position, and with that year under my belt, I think I'll have some more responsibility. But shoot, it's not like I can do whatever I want. As a nickelback, our job is to kind of get the call and then control the defense from there. So it's already a position where I have a lot of freedom. So I'll be interested to see how my role changes this year.
All right, thank you, Elijah. Mike Farrell, you're up. Ruth Robbins next.
Hey, Elijah. I mean, you mentioned it, but obviously this is such an unprecedented year. And I'm curious, as a leader on this team, what kind of leadership do you think is required from you when you've got to keep guys responsible on the field, off the field, keep them away from situations that might get them in trouble with COVID? What does that require from you as a leader on this team?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I think that's the golden question I think a lot about leadership is motivating people. And the question is, how can you motivate an entire team over the course of a whole year? Because a lot of motivation is, you get, it's quick and then eventually it dies down. But that like sustained motivation is something that everyone has been trying to figure out forever. But as a leader, I just got to remind people what our goal is as a team, and then also what each player's goal is individually. Because if each player does what they're supposed to do and takes care of their job, then the whole team is gonna have success.
All right, we'll go to Ruth Robbins. Ruth, then Larry, then Lauren Kirschman. Go ahead, Ruth.
Elijah, this might be kind of an off-the-wall question, but I'm wondering, with everything going on in the world, I mean, it's just been a nuts, crazy year of division and problems off the field. What do you guys as a team do to unify at times like that? I mean, do you guys have discussions? Is there any kind of dialogue that goes on in the locker room with you kids? And how do you keep those kind of outside things in their perspective? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I think you mentioned locker room, and that's usually when a lot of these types of conversations happen.
Mhm.
But in this year, we don't have a locker room. So, the coaching staff, I think it was around the George Floyd case. We had a couple Zoom meetings where that's all we would talk about was kind of, the situation of our country. And just that was when people were able to voice their concerns. And we listened open-heartedly. And I think a lot of the times it's easy because it's easy to hear the other side because we're all a team. We're all so close with each other that, we respect other people's different stances and whatnot. But we all agree that, some of the cases that are happening in our country right now are human rights issues.
Thank you, Elijah. Larry Stone next, and Lauren Kirschman. Larry, go right ahead when you unmute.
Elijah, what about the responsibility that players are going to have to undertake now to keep themselves safe from COVID, not go to parties, now that you're on campus and stuff? Is that going to be difficult for this group, or do you think that they understand what's at stake?
Yeah, I think for this group in particular, it's going to be, I mean, we're pretty dialed as a team. And I think it starts from the top all the way down. But I can definitely see, especially as a younger player, the freshman coming in new to the college scene, and then some other players, I can see how it's difficult to, to not go out and have fun and have part of the college experience. But this is our responsibility, and we made this commitment to the team.
All right, thank you. Lauren Kirschman, Masvita on deck. Go ahead, Lauren.
Hi, Elijah. I was just wondering, I mean, you talked about how important it was for you to play this year and how you didn't think you'd be able to stay away and how you wanted to start Jimmy Lake off on a good note.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, during the period where it wasn't clear if you were even going to have a season at all, what was it like for you in that period, and how did you kind of handle that situation?
Yeah. I think the first couple days, couple weeks, and then that probably led to a couple months. At first, I was very every day was like me trying to figure out, me reading news headlines, me doing this and that to try and get the, breaking news so I can kind of know in my heart what I was going to do. But the thing is, like, I can't control any of that stuff. And a lot of what was happening would change every week. So the situation was really dynamic. And I really found peace once when I realized that, listen, there's nothing I can do, going on Twitter, going on Instagram, whatever isn't going to help me. I'm just going to let God do his thing, and then I'm going to sit back and keep on working. So this off season, I really just took it day by day, and I think I had my most successful off season.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We'll take 4 more questions from the 4 hands raised. Masvita, then Christian, then Chris Fetters, then Mike Farrell. So we'll start with Masvita. Go ahead, Mas.
Are you guys all in a different room together?
Yes, everybody's at their own homes.
Oh, okay.
I'm pressing a lot of buttons here. Go ahead,
But
Mas.
you can see them, but I can't see everyone else?
I can only see their names, not their faces.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Go ahead, Mas. No worries.
Thank you to all y'all helping facilitate this. Hey, Elijah, going back to the Black Lives Movement discussion you all had, and as a team, and then what can you say about the university athletic department moving from discussion to responsibility, and now there's a vote? I mean, there's a push for y'all to vote, and what can you say about just going from discussion to action and how important that is in this whole process?
Yeah, it's very important. I think when an inequality happens, it's important to get the message out to spread awareness and stuff. But a lot of times on social media, and especially Twitter, there's too much dialogue and not enough action. And that's kind of when it's easy to feel hopeless when all you hear is negative comments about a situation that, is terrible. But what makes change is the action, like voting, and action like actually going out in the real world and treating people with respect. So as a team, we decided that all getting registered to vote and then voting was something that we can do that's easy, that would bring about change, especially in our platforms.
All right, we'll go to Christian, then Fetters, then Mike, and we'll be done with Elijah's portion. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, Elijah, I'm just curious, how you think not having a spring ball and having the timeline pushed back and not starting fall camp till October and all that, just curious the impact you think that might have on the defense, and how you would gauge sort of your guys' ability to weather all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, really looking at where we're at now, and I think if I take a step back, I think we'll be completely fine. Early on, I was thinking probably the same thing you are. Was, dang, they're missing spring. I know as a young guy, spring was a great time for me to grow and learn the playbook and stuff. But we had a lot of time sitting at home on our couches, and that was when we dove into the playbook and had our meetings and got right mentally. So I mean, yes, it's going to be different. It's going to be a new transition, but I think we're going to be okay.
All right, we'll go to Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Chris. Your mic is open.
Okay. Thanks, Elijah. Was curious on just, you talked about getting Coach Lake's tenure off to a good start. What are the differences that you've seen from him that have maybe been slightly different from when he was your position coach?
It's interesting because he brings the same coaching philosophy, the same energy and the same fire that I'm familiar with him being my position coach for 3 years. But now it's just to a larger audience. So a lot of the times when he's giving his speeches to the whole team, he's coming with that familiar, I'm very familiar with the way he coaches. And a lot of the other position groups, at first they're like, dang, this is Coach Lake. Like, he's serious. I didn't think he'd be like this. And that's when all the DBs will look around and be like, yep, you know something's about to happen. So right now I think we're all on the same page, and we know what to expect from each other, and we know what to expect from him. So he sets the tone, and then we just go off of him.
All right, Elijah, thank you. Last question for you will be from Mike Varell. Mike, you're open, ready to talk.
Yeah, just kind
kind of two quick things, Elijah. Just first off, obviously coming off such a great season for you last year, what do you think is the next step for you as a DB? And then larger, I mean, for this defense, losing Joe and losing Levi, but obviously having a lot of talent, what do you think this defense is capable of this season?
Yeah, I think I mean, as a team, we have goals and we kind of have expectations, but we don't necessarily put like statistics with those, with what we believe we can achieve. But in every position group, I think we can be great. The best Washington defense we've had since I've been here, I believe. And we're a pretty young group in some areas, and especially with Levi and Joe, like you said, leaving, it's a good challenge, but I think we're all up for it. And then individually, I think the good thing about the off season is that's where I feel like I go to work the hardest, and that's where I grow as a player. And then when the season comes around, all I have to do is just show out and then perform to the best of my abilities. But I do know that this off season I've improved the most. I think my freshman year I was terrible. My sophomore year I was like a little better, still bad, and I feel like last year I was pretty good. I think this year I can be great though.
Hi, Cade. I was just wondering, obviously it's been an unconventional off season, but do you feel like the offensive players have at least been able to get comfortable with John Donovan, and what have you kind of learned about him over these past few months?
Yeah, first of all, I think we've gotten really comfortable with what he's brought with the offense. And I mean, we had some time in the winter, we had some OTAs then, and obviously everything stopped. We got quarantined, and then we came back, had a little time this summer, and then things stopped again. But during that time, I think pretty much everyone on the offense has been in their playbook, studying really hard, and in these first couple of days, it's shown. Like we have a really good foundation of what we're going to do, and we're executing really well in these first 2 days. I'm really impressed with our guys.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to Dan Raley. Dan, you're up next, followed by Chris Fetters. Go ahead, Dan.
Cade, how does the tight end fit into John Donovan's new offense? Are two tight ends still a prerequisite?
Yeah, very much so. I think it'll be pretty similar to what we've done in years past, and obviously there's going to be some different things. He's got a lot of kind of a new style, but I mean, tight ends are heavily involved, and so I mean we have a really good room, some really good players in the tight end room who are going to make a big impact on the team.
All right, Chris Fetters, you're up next, followed by Ruth. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Cade, real quick, how has your relationship developed with the new tight ends coach, with Durham? And then also, what advice have you given your younger brother now that he's kind of going through the same process you went through?
Yeah, so first with Coach Cato, it's been an awesome time having him as our coach so far. Obviously, he was with the program before, and I was able to interact with him quite a bit before he was our tight ends coach. And now that he's our coach, obviously I spent a lot more time with him, and he's incredibly smart, works really hard, and knows how to motivate us to work hard ourselves. And so it's been an awesome start. And with my brother, I'm always telling him about the dogs, and he's got a decision to make. Obviously, it's awesome that he's gotten all these opportunities across the West Coast and country, but I'm always going to talk to him about how great it is to be a dog, and so have some of my teammates and coaches as well. So it's fun.
All right, thank you. Here's the lineup I have. It's going to be Ruth, Anthony, Christian, Lars, Mike Farrell, and Dee Dee. So go ahead, Ruth. You are open and ready to talk.
Yeah, Kate, you talked about the room, the tight end room, and how much talent there is in there. Could you talk a little bit about some of your teammates and aside from yourself, of course, I mean, who you see really rising up this season alongside you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed with all of the guys. Obviously, Devin and Jack have been here a while, and man, it's been awesome. I'm a year ahead of them, but it's been awesome to watch them grow. And just in these OTAs that we've had and working outside of those, and they've come a long way, and they're ready to make an impact, I know. And then we have Zeke and Carson, and they've been working really hard, and they've gotten a lot better. And then our freshmen, Mark and Mason, there's some really good playmakers. I think they're picking up on stuff extremely fast, and I think that's it's a great thing about our offense too. Like these freshmen are being able to pick up on the offense really quickly, and they've been able to show up in these first couple OTAs, and I've been extremely impressed. I'm proud to be a part of this tight end group, and it's going to be awesome to see how we contribute when we put the pads on and we get into the season.
All right, thank you. Anthony Edwards, followed by Christian Capel. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, Cade, who have you kind of seen some improvement from your teammates, especially like this offseason? Who stands out?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, a lot of guys. Obviously, it's been kind of hard since we haven't been together a ton. But I mean, I've seen a lot of growth from on the defensive side of the ball. Just I go up against our ends a lot, and I mean, Zion and Leatu, both really good players. Obviously, it's too bad we won't have Joe with us, and he's a great. I'm excited to see him do some big things at the next level. But I think we're in good hands with our other edge guys that we have.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Christian Capel, followed by Lars Hanson. Christian, you go ahead.
Yeah, Cade, I'm just wondering what it's like being a college student right now, knowing that you guys are all gonna kind of have to limit yourselves to the bubble of your team during this season, and how much self-policing and that sort of thing might be required.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really weird. Zoom meetings haven't been my favorite thing over the past 8 months or however long it's been, but I mean, it's what we have to do to continue to keep playing, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, we can only control what we can control, and we're going to do what we can to do well in school and play some football, and that's what we're all excited to do. And it might be a little tough, but I think it'll be worth it.
Okay, we'll go to Lars Hanson with Mike Farrell on deck, and then DD will wrap us up after Mike. Go ahead, Lars.
Hey, Cade, how's it going? You hear me?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I talked to your younger brother a few months ago, and he said that you got to practice with him and kind of train with him this offseason. Just what did that mean to you to have that extra time with your younger brother this summer?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I know a lot of guys who went home had to kind of train by themselves, but it was extremely fun to train with him and hang out with him. And I mean, I've been with him my whole life and his whole life, and he's developed a lot, and he's become a really good player, and it's fun to watch him work in the off season, and I'm excited to watch him in the fall, and as he gets closer to making a decision, it's going to be really fun, and I'm super proud to be a part of what he's doing.
All right, Mike Farrell, and then Didi Sun will be last. Go ahead, Mike. You are unmuted.
Yeah, Cade, I'm just curious. You've obviously talked through this offense, I'm sure, on Zoom calls, like you said, 1 million times, but to drill it as much. I mean, at this point, do you feel like how well, I guess, do you feel like you understand this offense? And also, as you go forward as a player individually, what's sort of the next step for you?
Yeah, so with the offense, I think we've been able to execute really well these first couple of days, and especially with the lack of reps we've had. And I think that's just come from drilling it mentally so many times. And obviously there will be some things that are a little different on the field than they are when you're just looking at your screen studying. But yeah, I think we'll fix those things as we go and try our best to be as prepared as possible while we're studying. And personally, I want to take a step in every facet of my game. It's run blocking, it's pass blocking, it's making plays down the field, and being a leader for my team. I think this can be a really big year for us, even with the limited amount of games. I mean, we have a shot to win everything, and I'm so excited to get the chance with my brothers.
All right, thank you. And our last question of the day will come from Didi Sun from Cairo 7. Didi, I think you need to unmute, and when you do, you'll be ready to go. There you go. Go ahead.
Hey, Cade. Yeah, I have a quick two-parter here. So just wanting to get an overall perspective from you on the COVID situation. What do you think about the protocols from Pac-12 and the daily testing? Do you feel like that's enough to keep you and the players safe? And how weird is it going to be, or how tough is it going to be to maintain that energy when you guys do play without a crowd?
Yeah, personally, and I think this is a sentiment of all the guys, most of the guys at least, that we feel really safe, and we have the entire time that we've been here from the University of Washington and the Pac-12. I mean, we've been able to keep the virus out of our facilities throughout this whole entire time, and I feel very safe to answer that question. And the following one, I mean, we practice every day without a crowd, and we bring a lot of energy. We get each other going, and I don't see that being any different on game day. And even more so, I think we'll bring more energy, and we're all super excited to get going, play some games, and make a run at winning everything.
All right, that's a terrific way to wrap it up. Cade, thank you so much for your time. Stay seated for just a second till we close this out. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll be in touch as soon as we can with some sort of details about the official start of quote-unquote fall camp in another week or so. Again, thanks a lot, Cade. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.